Hello everyone, welcome back to Base Damage. I hope you are all doing well. Today I wanted to discuss the topic of cheating, not just in Weiss, but across all the TCGs I've ever played. Also, no, this isn't a tutorial video, as funny as that would be. I didn't want to have to script this one, but the first iteration of this came off way harsher than I meant it to be, so I figured scripting would be the best approach. To get right into the meat of this topic, I've wanted to discuss my experiences with things like regionals and shop challenges for a while. Initially, maybe doing a comparison of my first Yu-Gi-Oh! Regionals versus my first Weiss Regionals, and give my thoughts on the overall experiences, how they were different, how they were similar, etc. I may still make something for that in the future, but for this video, I wanted to address something that I heard on a different video altogether. One content creator that I still watch for Yu-Gi-Oh! Named MBT, the video I'm referencing was one on his clip channel for his streams. He does a lot of great videos and content pertaining to Yu-Gi-Oh! And I highly respect him both as a fellow content creator and entertainer. Joseph is just all around freaking awesome, and I don't want this to sound like I'm calling out him or his community. I'll post a quick screenshot, but otherwise I'm just going to describe what happened in this video. I wasn't in the initial stream either, so I'm not sure the context of this particular clip, but I can only assume somehow the topic of Weiss Schwarz got brought up. I'll put the link for it down below in the description. One member of his chat decided to state their own opinion on Weiss Schwarz, stating, quote, "All Weiss Schwarz tournaments are best of one, and their game is rampant with cheating because of that." End quote. Yeah, it's best of one. I'll agree with that. MBT ends up reading this out loud, and I can only assume he's trying to keep people from hating on the game because he just makes a joke in response to it, just kind of dismissing the comment with a, "How can you play a game with one hand?" Heck, it got a chuckle out of me. But it's that comment that kind of spurred on this video. I'm not sure if this commenter has just had bad experiences or just wanted to hate on the game because of whatever reason. But it did get me thinking about how often I've seen cheating in any TCG, regardless of the event or locals I went to for those games. Yu-Gi-Oh! Being the most prominent, I cannot count how many times I've had to deal with cheaters or people just deciding that they want to screw over someone else because they've had a bad day. And when it comes to Weiss, and this is just from my own personal perspective, but I've not seen anywhere near as much cheating in Weiss as opposed to other card games. At the Yu-Gi-Oh! Locals that Moroku and I went to, we would constantly have to call out people for trying to cheat. And I'm not talking ignorance of card effects. No, I mean legit people trying to pull cards out of their pocket, Bandit Keith style, stacking their deck, or even marking their cards. I could give countless examples, but we would be here all day, and I don't have enough pre-recorded games to play in the background. By comparison to Weiss, I've seen nothing anywhere close to that much cheating. This isn't just me trying to paint Weiss in a better light due to it being the focus of the channel either. The worst we ever had at our locals was a kid showing up one day to play in our tournament, but all he had was a Japanese deck. I think it was Evangelion, that's beside the point. Everyone else only played English, it was just our preference, so none of the players were comfortable playing against a set they couldn't read. Luckily, amazing friend of the channel Boxu-chan just happened to have a spare Haruhi deck and offered to let the guy play that instead. The kid agreed to play that deck, so we gave him a few extra minutes to read through the deck to familiarize himself with it before starting the actual tournament. I had the honors of playing him first round, and he basically just made up card effects on the fly. Maybe he just thought quoting key terms to sound like he had been playing for a long time would make his opponent believe him, but not I. He would say, "Oh, this is a free runner." I would pick up the card and it would be a drop searcher. Or when level 3 hit, he tried to play a level 3 and goes, "This heals 1 on play." I would read the card and it's salvaged on play instead. Just 2 examples of things he kept trying to do the entire game, but I let him keep trying instead of calling our judge. By the end of the game, I had won, and he just had this sad look on his face and just says, "Sorry." I asked him how he expected us to let him play Japanese cards that we couldn't read if he couldn't be trusted to read off the correct effects in English. Typical RTFC moments. He played the rest of the tournament honestly and didn't participate in any other tournaments from then on. So, you get called out like that. That is the worst we've ever dealt with on a locals level personally, but let's move on to the regionals level. To accompany this section though, I wanted to also talk about something major that happened in Yu-Gi-Oh! Recently. That being an update to the player suspension list. Cheating happens so often in games like Yu-Gi-Oh! That they have to keep a public list of players who are banned from any level of play, whether that be national, regionals, or even local. I'm not sure of the frequency of the updates, but it got brought to my attention due to one other Yu-Gi-Oh! Content creator named Distant Coder being taken off the suspension list. He's another awesome Yu-Gi tuber that I do not think was put on that list fairly to begin with, but that's just my opinion. But it got me thinking, does Weiss have a player suspension list? So after searching online, as well as asking good friend of the channel Weiss and Chill, who is a level 2 judge, if there was a publicly known list of players who were banned from playing in Weiss tournaments, he told me, no, there isn't a public list. I couldn't really find anything about it on the English Weiss site either. In our conversation, we obviously brought up the incident of the Bushiroad Rumble Online tournament, where it was discovered someone who topped was cheating with a deck that had less than the required number of cards. The only other incident of a player getting suspended wasn't even involving cheating, but back in 2019, there was a player who tore apart the award certificate they were given and bragged about it on social media. But that's not even for cheating, which is why we're here to begin with. So far from what I've seen, and Weiss and Chill agreed with this, player suspension happens so rarely in Weiss that Bushiroad just handles the incidents internally without roasting players publicly, unless it's a major infraction or is disrespectful to the game. A big thank you to Weiss and Chill on helping me with this information. Please go give them a follow. Admittedly, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a way bigger turnout in regard to the number of players, so I will totally admit that cheating and the such is going to be much more rampant due to the sheer number, the sheer amount of players you have to deal with, but I still feel it needs to be addressed that one game has a very large list of players suspended for cheating and unsportsmanlike conduct, while Weiss Schwarz has nothing of the sort, at least for now. Knowing that makes me look at that comment I saw in MBT's clip and go, do you even play your own game? It just doesn't sit right with me. But to get back to personal experience, while I have no real proof to show for these tournaments, I never really encountered cheating during the Weiss regionals that I've gone to. Both in singles and in the team tournaments, the worst I've ever had was a guy didn't believe a ruling for one of my cards and had to call a judge over to confirm. That's it. Even observing the other players around me, no one got kicked out, no one slammed their hands down on a table before flipping it, no one got yelled at, nothing. Just players laughing and having a good time. And yes, those other things happened many times in Yu-Gi-Oh! For me. Now that's not to say it doesn't ever happen. Maybe I've just been extremely lucky not having to deal with those kinds of people when it comes to Weiss. That's not to say that my Yu-Gi-Oh! Experience has been all negative either. I wouldn't have continued to stay in the game if it was happening every single time I went to a locals or other tournament, but I feel it's very unfair to see the Bushi Rumble incident and then go to other people's streams who have nothing to do with Weiss Schwarz or the community at all and misinform them that saying Weiss is rampant with cheating. That's just not true, man. I'm sorry if this person had a bad experience, but that doesn't justify spreading misinformation. With that, thank you all very much for watching. It is greatly appreciated. Please give a like and subscribe if you would. If not, hey, thanks for just stopping by to check out the video. Please have a wonderful day and stay safe. Peace out for now.